Please go.
How's the seaweed? It's been nice actually. I'm really finished.
Annabelle likes seaweed too.
I really love it.
Kia ora everybody. So the purpose of today is just trying to fill you in with some things about Bernard Mahara and any questions you might have, but also to introduce you to the lovely Annabelle Roy, who is our marketing and sponsorship lead. And she's going to do a little presentation and have a discussion about some marketing and sponsorship.
You lady selling seaweed at the cafe?
Actually, I haven't seen him yet.
So just by way of filling you guys in, I haven't got a PowerPoint because Annabelle's not too good at mine actually. Just facts and figures where we stand at the moment. So far for 2026, we've got about 64 events booked. That's not including the dance studio. The dance studio has recurring bookings every day of the week. Most nights are booked apart from Sundays. So if you want to do Sunday yoga, come and see us. As you probably, well, I hope you would have seen, the first 3 events have launched. So far, we've sold about 390 tickets to the first 3 events. The most popular so far is the Cromwell, the comedy show, followed by everybody knows, which is the Laser Kiwi Circus show, and then followed closely behind by Jenny Mitchell as well. As I hope you would have seen as well, our website landing page is live, our socials are all live. We're getting some lovely comments from the community about different bits and bobs. And we're slowly working on local and regional print ads, billboards, radio, media, PR for the opening. In terms of socials numbers, Facebook, we've got 745 followers. We've got database subscribers for email newsletters of over 700. Insta, we're sitting only at about 200, but it's going to improve. And for the retail space, we've got about 15 local suppliers and art stands going into the retail store. They're all really excited. They've all got site visits. So we're slowly stocking the retail store as we get shipping for it. The thing that I wanted to discuss today, apart from any questions you might have around any other updates that you want, is seek some guidance from you guys about events moving forward. So the first 3 events, large events that we've put on, we've produced ourselves. And we've done that along the guidelines that you guys gave us around the benefit of the community and the community being able to come in with a range of activity to see the space in action. So really what we need to do is have a discussion about what you would like to do, what sort of model you would like to follow for bringing more stuff to Cromwell that we can put on. The way that we programmed the comedy and Jenny Mitchell and the circus shows was at a break-even level. So essentially, all ticket sales are paying for production costs, artist fees, and the venue staff and things like that. So if you would like now, and Miss David wants to add anything else, we can have a little discussion about that, about where you might see that sort of heading in the future. We've got lots of things lined up we'd like to do, but kind of an idea of, I suppose, the risk appetite for bringing different events to Cromwell, and how you'd like to maybe see that working. Yeah.
Well done. I will put my 2 cents in because the theme, the last sort of 12 months really have been really working hard to get to this point. Opening next year. Next week, not next year.
No, next year.
Bit more time. But the team now is Will and Annabelle, and it's awesome to have them both here. We've also got Jack, Lisa, and Ash, as well as Jen's still part of it as well. And we've also got Jennifer helping with the curation of the museum too. So we do have a really good, powerful team there that have an awesome events background. And you're about to hear a little bit from Annabelle. I'm really fortunate to have her join the team. She comes from a heap of sponsorship and marketing around here, but also around New Zealand and further afield. We're really fortunate to have somebody like Annabelle come and join us to help, put Bernard Mahara on the map, which is fantastic. And one of the things that we've been really working hard to over the last 12 months is to get to the point of having the doors open, creating that operating model, getting a good team in place, being able to open the doors. And that's going to happen next week. And now the team are looking for direction about what does BAU look like for us after sort of, the first couple of months. We'll be ironing out a couple of kinks and things like that. But it's what does BAU look like? How much freedom would you like to give Will and his team going forward? And, to Will's point, what sort of risk level would you like? These shows that we do have are about breaking even, and one of the goals of the community board and council is to get as many people from our community through the doors in the first 12 months. And I know in our sort of construction phase, we probably had a couple of thousand go on construction tours, I would say, over that time. And so, you know, we've probably had another sort of 500 or 600 go through the doors before we've opened. And so how do we want to get the other, you know, what's that, 23,500 people of Central Otago through these doors in the next 12 months? So, or I guess, well, one of the sort of starting questions is around, you've seen some of the events, you've seen the branding, you've seen everything that the team's kind of put together. Is what else would you kind of like to see over the next 12 months? One. And two, just taking the lens of, in 2 years' time, we'll be doing a full review of the operating of this facility. Currently, it operates as, you know, a community facility that is offset by some revenue, and the ratio we are using is 70-30. The resolutions we have are to review that in 2 years' time and 6 months performance. So, I think probably one of the first questions to pick up from Will is when it does come to things like ticket pricing and, you know, cost recovery and all of that kind of stuff, what would be the board's guidance on that over, you know, over, I guess, the next 12 months?
I have brought it to Labour Kiwi, and I did think it was very affordable, but I did run the numbers and think that no one's getting rich out of it, right? So it is that balance, and I think, like you said, in the opening year at least, it's more important to get people through the door than aim high with the tickets and actually find out what the barrier is for people buying tickets. So I think we should focus on getting people through the door in the first instance.
I'd hit the ball out of the park. And all honesty, like, how much did we spend on this thing? 40 something million, 42?
It's like 45.8.
45.8.
Get over that.
No, that's fine. But just to bring that up, it would be absolutely the wrong decision to not take some risks now on making it successful. So I would try and get as many people through the door as we possibly can and set up for starting to make as much revenue as possible over the next couple of years once everyone national is used to booking that. And instead of just stopping in Queenstown for a comedy skit, how do we make sure Jim McCarr shows up in Cromwell next time he's here? I think that's what we need to aim for, right?
Yeah.
I've got my tickets to the Cromcom.
Yes, you do.
And you've got a few extras.
You like the experience too.
The ticket department. Operator here.
Joint.
I found the ticketing experience quite smooth and easy.
Oh, look, I was trying to get it.
well, what are you trying to say about Rebecca's ability to take it outside, lady?
Between meeting and assembly and students and staff, it was like, you know, we're trying to do it on the phone and back and forth. Whatever we can get there, it's going to be well supported.
So when you're saying break even on these shows and the show, that's paying for the staff of Mahara, is that the temporary staff that come in just for that event? So it's not the actual, it's not covering the operational costs at all. Peter's happy with that. He's just giving you
Is it right?
he's just giving you a budget to work for in terms of operations for the year.
Well, you get us that as well as part of the sector plan.
So
I mean, it's also about testing the waters, right? So we don't know, you know, we've programmed these 3 events and we've got plans about what comes after, but we need to have this discussion first. But also, I don't know if people in Cromwell are going to pay $40 once a week to come and see something. Or is that going to be once a month, or with the cost of living crisis like where that sits? So there's definitely going to be a testing phase as well, where we try different things, and you know, people might turn around and go, no, we saw Jenny 3 months ago somewhere else, we don't want to see her again. So there's all those things that we're testing as well, but keeping the price point low is definitely a focus.
when Tamar just set the vision for the future, which is Cromwell's taking over everything. So it includes people from Alex, people from Wanaka, people from Queenstown, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Different price brackets.
yeah. That's how we unify community.
Yeah.
Bring your rates bill on paper. Pay 10% of your rates, get in chips.
Get some free chips.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So you touched on the fact that the first three events are run and produced, managed by yourselves.
Yep.
As a team. So I guess the question is, how much of that do you do a year? Because in between times, there will be other events where they just want to hire a venue and you'll say, there you go. Right?
Yeah, it's not a venue where you say that you go there. That's the thing. So our events person Ash, for any of the events that we're doing, she's working really hard on them.
Yeah.
In terms of the production of events, it's all of those other things that happen. It's everything from, you know, we're looking at a winter market through to getting some of those Jimmy Carr things through to some of the other music that's interested. We had a rep from Live Nation come through with our technician the other day. And that was really valuable because they were like, you can do this at the moment. If you put in a little bit more investment, you could do this. So working out all of those things as well. But even if we're not producing our own events, there's a hell of a lot of work to do with like those rugby club, you know, inquiries and things like that. I mean, to be in a position now when we've got over 60 events booked, that doesn't include the ones that are penciled. It's a pretty good position to be in.
Yeah, we're not open yet.
Yeah. And a lot of them have been amazing because we've been in the space for quite a while now. And we've been going, well, we don't know. Yeah, we do know, but we don't know. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it.
We're still 6 months away from people being used to having that facility available.
Absolutely. And we're 6 months away from someone booking a meeting room and going, I normally do this in Alex and I get 200 coffee cups and free biscuits. Like that's the stuff we're navigating at the moment as well.
Yeah.
It's a change of perception. It's people getting used to the building. It's a change of culture around how the whole community uses facilities and things. And a lot of it is the teams take the approach. It's like it's never a no. It's look, we can't give you those coffee cups. We do have a cafe on site. We do have a caterer on site. And some inquiries we have gotten to the point where we're just like, look, we just can't do that. You know, that's just not what we're here for. We can't do that at the moment. But those are all learnings for us as well as we go.
Yeah, so in the brochure, you'll be popping out for your cafe and fix from the hour.
Yeah.
And so just back to the budget, people around the table, we remember, you know, one of the first spreadsheets that Jen showed us were just lines on a page, and one of them was around sort of marketing activation and things like that in the first couple of years of forming the operating model, and it was getting all of these things through the door as much as we could to get people through the door to learn about the facility, and just talking about the team that we have. And we noticed this across all of our facilities, whether it's Paul or it's managing HVAC, things like that, because of where we are, not many people in this district have technology. So Will has got a really good team who are able to operate to the point where I'm not allowed to push buttons, am I?
No, it'll be more.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a
There
very
was a time when
telling.
it was later, but not.
Not anymore. I won't push that. No, yeah, okay.
That's goodness sake.
There we go.
Well, can I, like, just from your perspective, as venue director, where do you want to see the next 12 months and what would you like us as a board to be directing you on? Like, I'm an entrepreneur that would just be like, well, we've hired you now, so
Yeah.
go hard and we'll come back in a year and see how
I
it's
think
going.
the continued support of what we're doing, I think that's really integral out in the community. I think that's a big part of it. And also these sessions are great because we can come and get guidance because, you know, we have been working in that building for quite a while now and your community perspective is really good. Most of our team aren't from Cromwell, you know, so yeah, anything that you guys can feed in is really good. And also your patience as well. Sometimes you might call us and go, somebody at the cafe was talking to me about this thing, and like I said to Wally this morning, I was like, "Yep, well, we've got the rugby club inquiry, but it's for 2028, so we'll call the old guy and then we'll put on a piece of paper and leave it until we get the building open." Kind of thing. So your guidance is really valuable. Your support of just being able to say go for it, but also your patience, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to nut out with these new spaces when they open. Of course. Yeah.
I think we also don't mean other communities going to use it too. One of the things to brought it to life over the last little while is, as we've talked about the things that we've needed here and talking to other councils, we can't find a council or a facility in New Zealand that has the same offerings as what this building does, from a museum, exhibition space, a gala hall, cafe, catering, kitchen, conference facilities, foyer, everything all under one roof. Seems to be quite a reach thing, ambitious, but
Well, it's just nice not to have a building board around, built around some basketball courts, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
quite different.
Although we'd like that too.
Yeah.
Just be clear. Because we don't have an indoor sports school in Cromwell and we really need one.
Yeah. And like we are, you know,
Just keep saying it, one more.
we are still a small community with quite a personal approach. And so when we do start working into Puta Mahara, things like when Rebecca called me last week about, I've triple booked my tickets, how do I get a refund?
There was a couple of other council leaders who were like that as well.
There we go.
Yeah, on a certain age, yeah. There was a
Menopause a bit, yeah. Buy extra tickets.
with the ticketing system, because it's the first time that we used it, and I was quite surprised that it went as well as it did. But there was one step where a whole lot of people got caught, and it was one button that shouldn't have been there through the purchasing process. So that's now been fixed, and by all accounts,
Money back.
you what?
I haven't got my money back.
Just
Sponsorship you for.
Yeah.
Just on that front as well, like obviously these meetings don't happen on the most regular
Yep.
cycles, so like we're all on teams. So if you just need to reach out to us, do so.
Yep.
And then we, you know, we can at least offer our opinions or thoughts on something.
Yeah.
Subject to those
We're good
meetings.
at that.
Yeah, thank you, that's great.
The big thing is you're talking about locals and you're talking about Cromwell.
Mm.
Everybody's paying for it, but it needs to be like, we can't rinse our community for the same thing, regardless of how varied the things are, you know. There's a budget for everybody, and so we can't just sit here thinking, oh, Cromwell, if we put on enough different things, they'll all come, because we can't.
No.
So it's a balance of putting things on that are not necessarily diverse enough, but just big enough, probably, that they do capture people from outside that you go to, because there are things on in Queenstown and Wanaka sometimes, I think, oh yeah, that'd be worth the trip. They're probably more critical than Cromwell, because Cromwell will support it, because we're fiercely local and we want to see it succeed. I think that is the sentiment of the town, so I don't think pushing it in Cromwell is actually what's needed.
No.
I think it's pushing it in that next circle, because they're the ones that will make or break it for us, because we'll support what we can, because we're loyal. But we just can't afford to do it all. So if we're relying on that it will fall down. So definitely looking at the scope being big enough to attract people out of Queenstown. And in some ways that is what's on in Queenstown, what are we going up against? What can we do instead of, or what can we do better than they can do? We can steal it even. Like, which is weird. But
We can do better.
yeah, but it's that kind of thing, like, but personally, my kids have always said that we've always wanted to see the Nutcracker. Right, and it's always been on Dunedin whenever we've been away. And it's one thing, it's really stupid thing, we said, whenever it is in the South Island next, we will go, and it hasn't been. Something like that will be everybody's family thing that you'd be like, yep, I'll drop $500 on that. And you wouldn't for anything else, but everybody will have something in that vein. No, they're not, you know, like Men in Tights.
But we've definitely taken a looking outwards approach.
Yeah, because they're the kind of things that, no, that's the one-off for me, that regardless how much it costs to go and pay for, and then all of the bread and butter stuff that comes through that's exciting, but you pick. But if we've got one of those things for every family in the entire region, you're like, oh my God, that's on in the South Island, I'm gonna go to it.
Yeah.
They're where we're gonna make our money back, because they're the ones that the ticket prices they're sustainable to run the building as well. And we're bringing something in. And people come and stay, or they'll spend that incidental spend, like it's good for everything. So I'd like to see us not just focus too much on the same people every time, but go, like, say, go big and go bold, but that would be for me how to do that.
That's all great, and that is stuff that we're looking at. The ballet is a great example, you know, they were due to do a site, was it, I think 2 months ago when they were in Wanaka, 2 months ago, I can't remember. They got too busy, and I just keep reminding them they got too busy because their venue was terrible. So that they will come, but something like this, it takes them quite a
Yeah,
while to do.
but that's something like in this first year, just establishing how good we are,
Yeah.
that they will come here and go, actually, we're not going to bother looking in Queenston or Wanaka because that is a place that is exceptional. We've got all of the lighting rigs, we've got all of the sound, we've got everything that we need. It's easy for us. We can do a week long or whatever.
Yep.
They're the things that will make the money to run the building, not just do the events and get the people here. So we've got to click into that, run the building a little bit. And however much that is over the next 5 years will settle itself. But the bigger we go for those things, I think that's where we need to aim, because Cromwell will take care of itself. I like we'll be there as
And I
much as
think
we can.
once our neighbours next door see what it is that's on offer here,
Yeah.
they will be like, yeah, we're going there. And
Yeah.
then also, and you guys will be all over this, I'm really excited about that kids market that drives from Dunedin right through to ski every weekend and then drives home on Sunday, and
Yeah.
the effort that we can put into picking up all that stuff that's coming out of Dunedin, because it's just a line of cars Sunday afternoon going back through. And now that Domino's and Alexandra is temporarily closed, they're going to need somewhere to stop. So
I didn't want
I think it'll be to
Wanaka's got to- Well, put on some $6 pizzas. I mean, every time.
What's that, sorry?
Sounds like.
So the most is, comedy, that's about, 3/4 sold.
Yeah, 310 and 402 seats sold.
That's brilliant.
Um,
And that will start in the next 5 days. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I think everybody knows it's sitting at about 50 or 60 and Jenny's at about 40.
Oh, yeah.
So you can say Farms got 100 tickets to go, just for all of the
Yeah.
media listening right now and the public watching.
Under.
If you want to jump on, get on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purchase.
When Bex resells her tickets though. There'll be a few of those.
And that tracking was kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
So, comedy, pretty well-known names, a mixture of them, so everybody doesn't just start, I like that one, I like that one. And then, Jenny's got a really good following, but they generally take a little time to buy tickets. Colossal, which is the circus one, is a little bit of the outlier, so I'm really pleased that their sales are heading in the right direction. So it's kind of tracking as we expected, but also we're pretty pleased. There has been a few sleepless nights going like, what if nobody buys anything? But, and then you walk in the next day and like, oh, I knew it was going.
Annabelle, your marketing. Cool. Can you start feeding us stuff through, just on the Teams chat or whatever? We went around and saw it all and I filmed everything and got it ready, and then I was told by council that we're not allowed to actually produce anything yet because we're waiting for an open date or something, and then Bob went and did it anyway. So it would just be really nice to be able to be told what to do, when to do it now, and obviously represent to the wider area or wider New Zealand about things that they can book at this venue. So if you can get us B-roll and all that kind of stuff as well, it's a bit better than what's on my phone, just so that you can splice things up, and just where is that repository, I think would be really, really cool. And just, are we at the point now where we can start talking about it and not have to worry about things? We're at that point now, though.
I think if you wait one more week, so one of the reasons,
That sounds off.
one of the reasons of just kind of like, making sure people know about it. One of the reasons of keeping, not putting a whole lot of photos and things out there is the site is still technically a construction site until the 17th, which is next week, when we have, where we look at sort of the handover and all that kind of stuff. And then when it's publicly opened on the 18th, there is still 1 or 2 things happening with furniture and stuff like that going in. And also, I guess, as we went through this, we had so many people come on tours through, which was amazing. They were really excited by it. But for them to experience the facility as a whole, as locals come through as well, was for us to be able to build a little bit of hype and excitement, because we know that so far everyone's come through, the 2,500 that have come through have been wowed by the facility and have that experiences.
In other words, council reasons, can you just tell us when we can do stuff and what we should be doing and the messaging that we should, so we don't have to go looking for it and getting permission, I think is the key thing, and then we can start really pushing it out. Thank you. Just on Teams again, if that's possible. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
I think a good line that I've been taking with a lot of people as well is, you know, sometimes these facilities open with a big star and stuff like that. What I love about those.
Isn't it got anecdotes in the ribbon?
Well, no, but the opening stars of this facility is the community. You know, it isn't a big name musician or anything like that. It's the community. And for me, that's really special. And explaining that to people from outside of the region, a lot of them are blown away by that because the pressure to go, oh, yeah, we're going to get Tex or we're going to get Taylor Swift or, you know, we're going to get different people.
She never replied.
Eh?
She never
Really?
replied.
Now
She did.
it's down, I'm sure we'll go first on our list.
Yeah.
Take
She
some
replied
carries
to
on
me,
it down.
but just leave it.
Hey, I am just conscious of time, but I think we've got some pretty good direction on sort of box on, keep people coming through the doors locally and nationally.
Yeah.
It's about cost recovery in particular in this first year. And, you know, I guess utilising the budget that was set a little while ago.
Just going back and asking Peter for more.
And then the other
Yeah.
part that we did discuss to keep working up, which Annabelle's going to lead us through now, is sponsorship component is what we haven't really got a lot of direction yet from the board and council on what that could look like. And that's, how could that be a revenue line item for the facility? So I'll let Annabelle flip through this. This is her jam.
This is my jam. Thank you, David. I haven't met most of you, so I think we've got the faceless students. I am Annabelle Roy. I have been working with the Te Puna Mahara team for nearly 2 months, I think. And my role is marketing and sponsorship lead. The reason I think I am in this role and us will but is possibly because for the last 10 years I've made a career, a really fun, unique career out of specialising in promotions and sponsorship for big events around southern New Zealand. So I go wherever the events are, I represent the communities that are hosting them. Events that you may or may not have heard of, things like Tussock Country, New Zealand's Country Music Festival in Gore. It's been my baby for the last 6 years. Wheels at Wanaka I've been on board with since its very inception, for the last 8 years. The World Jet Sprints, 1K MP show. So I specialise in telling their stories and also in sponsorship for those events. In the last 5 years, I've worked with brands like in New Zealand, Bailey's Real Estate, all of the media outlets in New Zealand, Scapegrace, Whitestone Cheese, on and on. So some really big names, and it's been very exciting. So when this job came up, and it was a wonderful new venue and a great team, so for the very first time, I thought we could give that a crack. So here I am.
What a wonderful time to have events like your government.
I love the great team that.
I believe the role was created because of the aspirations with Puna Mahara from Memorial Event Centre, and the expectations that have been set that while it is a wonderful venue for commercial meetings and events, it's also first and foremost a community facility. And
Do you remember these 5 aspirations go back in the day?
Yes. Just on that first point, it says develop the vision again. The vision would have been developed by you guys when you decided to build this thing.
Well, part of it is yes, but also how is the community going to use it over the next, so that's part of our review in 2 years' time.
Okay.
Is as people come through the doors, I think we took a really good stab in the dark before we built the facility. And then inevitably, once you build it, how people use things are often 2 different things. So
we're looking at developing a strategy for years that.
who knows how to use it. We might have it bang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mention that.
Yeah. Mention that.
Job done.
Yeah. Yeah.
The discussion for the next few minutes is around the sponsorship and fundraising project, which we're looking at aiding in the sustainability of this venue long term, to keep costs at a minimum for the community and for the council and for anybody who would like to use it.
Next slide.
Here we
Here we go.
I need a week. I put down some potential areas that we can look at and that we can discuss. These are all, none of this is rocket science. Sponsorship really, it's summed up, but these are the different ideas and ways that we could look at it. Certainly corporate responsibility with getting some of those big name sponsors on board as advertisers. It's gold, silver, platinum sponsors of the venue. Legacy and community giving is about individuals, teach some ideas that coming up soon, quest. People like to leave money to the arts. There's some ideas, naming rights of, not necessarily the venue, but perhaps some rooms, some activations, some events. Advertising is a really straight line for us. We have so many screens. We've got pre-roll in the movies. We've got promotional materials. It's an easy win to put a logo in return for some advertising, to put some pre-roll in movies and sell it as advertising as opposed to sponsorship. A nice option for people. And then we're an arts creative community hub, and we can be creative in our sponsorship and our fundraising as well. So I'm just flipping to the next one. Number one, since it's corporate responsibility, everybody sees it one. When a business sponsors a venue like this or an event, it's because they want to give back, they want to align with what's happening within their community, and they want to get eyeballs on their brand in another way. It's
It's an inquiry to that, person, local and business.
very much so. We have we've got a waiting list. This is why we have this discussion. Yes, the legacy and community giving, I believe this idea has been around longer than myself, with the idea of putting the names on the backs of seats. Something like Take a Seat campaign, where people can purchase their own seat. And then if it's usually legacy donations, we have that a page on your website. Your navigation drops down if somebody would like to long-term donate to the arts, then that is an option for them. Number 3 would be, so yeah, it's the naming rights. Again, it's brand alignment, it's a partly advertising method, and they can name entertainment or services. Perhaps we put a price on, or a guide price on the naming rights for the auditorium for 3 years, and there would be a whole lot of guiding around who and who could not name the auditorium, what they could not name it. Go down that road. If you thought that was appropriate. We also see there will be a need for services within the centre, like the phone charging stations. TEP are always looking to sponsor things, and it's a really interesting way that they could do it. So put a name on that. Put a price on it per year. Of course, event series, and we've got Cromwell, which is already a comedy series. Because it does just want to name that sponsor for the next 2 years and help fund these artists and their travel costs. Number 4, as I talked about, we have an audience and we have eyeballs through that venue all the time. And we have a number of businesses that are really keen to put their brand on the screens. They are providers already of catering and a cafe, some of them, and they want to upsell their product through the cafe. So that's really easy for us. We can benefit here. We've got other suppliers. All sorts of people, all sorts of businesses are looking and want to support us, which is really great. 5. Yeah, it's really our wisdom. We can do all sorts of creative things. Just in particular, the need to keep costs down for the community. Some of the AV equipment they could purchase and put a name on or put a brand on. We don't currently yet have a piano, and we would really love not to have a grand piano. to care for, but perhaps perhaps business wants to help us buy a really state-of-the-art keyboard that can be used on stage, but also out on the terrace for a happy hour and jazz in the evenings and every bit on the keyboard, for example. That's something that a lot of community groups would use. But not the evidence about it. Yeah, there's plenty of people that are offering it. I wonder why. Yeah. And friends of people, friends of kind of Mahara, perhaps there's a ticket package offer if you want to contribute $1,000 a year, you get Kristen's 24 hours free.
You're already in bed, tickets. You've started that, you're in. Inaugural friends. Well done.
Yeah, so that's sort of some ideas, and what is the next? Yes, yes. This will be my biggest challenge is that I'm used to working for charitable trusts and in private events and things. I've never done sponsorship on behalf of it. So this will be a unique take, and I'm really looking for your guidance and expertise on my take on how we go about this. And it's probably not going out to the community and saying, thank you for this venue, please sponsor it. But rather, here's some advertising opportunities. Would you like to assist us in bringing these incredible events to the region? Would you like to help fund the high school equipment for the events? And they slot every month in your shore. We luckily have a database. We have been quickly building a database of email newsletter subscribers so they use. And one of the tick buttons when they subscribe is, would you like to be sent news on being a venue sponsor or funder? And 55 people have ticked yes. So it's a really easy start. They want to be included. They want to receive that information.
Rebecca was one of those.
I'm just enough comment that you jumping in the scroll through.
So that's a nice, easy in without having to shout it from the rooftops, advertise that we're looking for sponsors. And of course, we've got these businesses that are coming to us at the moment. I'm sure within your networks, you've got a plethora of people who'd be very open to sponsoring things. And if you would, perhaps, if appropriate, you would want to give us the details, we can send them a promotional pack if we get that developed. And if they continue the conversation, then they come and see us and they can get creative as they like, and we can come to you and say, is this appropriate? If you say yes, then away we crack on. Thoughts?
Everyone, so excited, part of it, super exciting.
Give them a good level of delegation just so they can go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Can you give us a number if everything there was a goer and there was all the sponsorship was oversubscribed, how much money could we call that, do you think, for sponsorship?
I couldn't give you that number. What I could say is that we could try and get a few more services contract, especially media, for the venue itself.
Peter told us that would never break even. The whole venue would never break even. Like, seen these
Well,
things.
not mine.
What's the kinds of spaces run before, and they always just cost the ratepayer money.
But I mean, this council and where I came from, Upper Hutt, accepted that and funded the similar facilities, to say recognise how important it was to the community. Because on a straight user pays, it does not.
Yep.
It would not spend.
So therefore the extra dimension of sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
And this is,
In Upper Hutt, they did have a grand piano. It was held in trust. It was sort of a gazillion dollars, but it was a lot of money. We could never afford it. They put it into a trust to protect it against amalgamation with any other council. So the trust controls that. So that's how those things can work.
Saw the
And so then,
Well, you're the most grand piano.
Well, we already have a grand piano in one of our facilities. It's works well.
I've heard it played once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's had some maintenance recently. But yeah, I guess what sort of the team are looking for now is a bit of direction on sort of hearing empowerment, which is awesome. One of the things we'd have to look at is around fees and charges and things like that. If you would like, it would have to be resolved by council if you wanted to enable staff to decide on all of that, but probably coming back to some parameters of what that looked like for sponsorship and.
I suppose it's just another whole table with fee and charges tables.
Yeah.
I think it's making it clear as well as that, and I'm like, talked about this a lot, is the alignment of sponsorship as well. Of like the subtlety that she's talking about is not just going, yeah, McDonald's wants to throw us money, so we're going to put that on the screens everywhere. It's kind of developing a framework, but also matching up. So if you've got a certain type of exhibition coming into the gallery, you can go out to some certain sponsors who it aligns with and who it matches with. So there's a benefit for them as well. It's not just going, open doors, let's go. Because that kind of changes the reason why we're there in a way. We want this stuff to benefit the community and benefit the centre as well. So subtlety and alignment is probably is a factor, I would say.
Come back to us with what you think is good for us to look at, and I've just set the challenge of making sure that Peter's really surprised by the results in a couple of years' time.
So they've got enough direction, maybe come back with a paper, I reckon, rather than a workshop to get some decisions and get this ball on, because we have got a list of people who want to get on board somehow. So we'd just depending on, that's obviously a bit of a workload this month, so I won't rush to that, but maybe in the next couple of months to come back with just a decision paper that we can take through to council on what that looks like, if you guys are comfortable with it. Yeah.
The brand names on the one that you sent through, are they like just examples, or are they?
Those are all the people that I have phone numbers of.
Right, so they haven't said yes or no or anything like that?
No, that's just my experiences.
They're all guessing.
Yeah,
They
I
just,
was going to say there's a couple of brands that we own this town, but so.
Yeah, right.
As well.
Yeah.
how much of this are you looking at being recovery of cost and how much is it to bring bigger, better? To like, have you got a split in mind to the work you're doing, whether it's just, are we mostly covering events like in the first year or two to get them here? And we're also mindful that some of it will go towards venue, or is there a split you've got?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Community use is still first and foremost.
Yeah,
So,
That's probably, how do we use sponsorship to enable that?
yeah,
How do we increase accessibility into the facility by utilising the generous businesses out there who have contacted us who want to be involved?
yeah,
And I guess that'll be what we sort of bring back, just a few ideas on what that could look like financially as well. It will form part of our fees and charges, but there'll also be a level of delegation for the council to give sort of staff to be able to make some decisions as well. So, that'll probably be, I think the team have put together, started to put some thinking together on what that could look like funding wise and revenue wise. And so we've probably got some good guidance on here that you are willing to look at that, willing to look at naming rights of a room. You know, the Excel room is still currently affectionately known as the Excel room. That's me being creative, I guess, one of us. But just to be able to bring that back with.
Imagine it's like the state sponsor.
yeah, right, put that on your list. You must know somebody there, sure.
yeah, they haven't called me.
Yeah. And so I don't think there's any sort of allergic reactions. You're happy to consider all things, so we'd come back with some options.
Right, those brand alignment is probably like, don't sell our soul to the devil for a bit of cash, you know, we've got to have a little bit of integrity, but we've also got bills to pay, so not
Are
that.
you saying so to the companies?
You know, because some
It's
others will
also
go on.
it's also the chicken and egg around demand as well. So,
Yeah.
if we have a school bands who regularly come to us, who want to do all ages gigs, and they need a PA, they obviously can't afford to hire a PA every time they want to come in. So then we go, okay, the demand is there. We can go out and see if we can find a sponsor for that. And then every time we do that gig, we put their little logo on the thing and get them.
Yeah,
So,
but there's community enabling sponsorship there,
yeah.
and then there's also venue enabling usage, and they're really important. But we're also got to be mindful that a little bit, even if it's a portion of some of the bigger stuff, goes towards that venue as well. Like, it's not just all about bringing it in. We've got to, because the ratepayer is still paying for the space.
Yeah.
So if we can take any burden off that, then it just improves that community feel as much as anything, I think. So that's a little bit towards that as well, isn't a bad thing. Like I know we're saying we want to get it started, but we
Yeah.
do also need to pay the bills.
Be-
Power's only
Be
going up.
ambitious, because what councils love to do is look at what someone else has done and say, okay, well, maybe we can achieve that, and it sort of just scales down to nothing. Whereas we've also heard that this is the only building like this in the whole of New Zealand, so therefore you get to set the example for everyone else on how to run these, right? So, yeah,
Go big.
don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done.
We get shy.
Good.
Go big or go home.
I'm just gonna write that down.
Right, so this is all recorded.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We can play that
It'll
back.
be in the
I don't watch
paper.
it.
It'll be in your performance review every time as well. Don't worry about it.
You want everyone, every other council in New Zealand, however many there are left by the time this is done, falling over broken glass to get advice from you on how to run a venue like this.
In that direction.
Yeah.
I think we're very excited to have the opportunity to make it as big as it can be is the thing. And if anything, I'd say we're a fairly brave
Yeah.
bunch of people that are, we're grounded in what we can do and what's sensible for the people that are paying the bills, but it's also sensible for the people that are paying the bills to go out there and try and go big and make this work. So self-fulfilling prophecy if you do get into it.
Yeah, and us as elected members before us have had to wheel a lot building this, so this is the chance, I think, to make it all worthwhile.
We are so looking forward to next Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then those of us who have tickets for the following.
And speaking of being brave, I've asked Anna, we do, for opening day on the Saturday, we might need some help with some emceeing, at different points of the day.
Same us, Swift.
So if you. That's literally just over the intercom that David would have shown you and played with.
Not touched it.
Well, actually, I did some testing on it. Like, Will's trying to get any volunteer to run the MC and not me.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not allowed to say anything about, this is Piccadilly line service and.
well, you can,
No, she couldn't say it.
as a elected members, you could probably make jokes, whereas we can't.
that probably concludes our workshop, I think.
Thank you, we are very, very excited. Thank you, team.